Welcome to Cookie Jar Adventures with Barbara Church. Today's story is called Nettie Jo's Friends by Patricia C. McKissick, illustrated by Scott Cook. Nettie Jo was beside herself with excitement. Tomorrow was Cousin Willendine's and Charles Henry's wedding, and Nettie Jo was their flower girl. "Hold still while I size this dress," Mama says, biting off a measure of thread. Nettie Jo told herself to be still, but her legs kept bouncing up and down. "Anna Mae, we're going to a wedding," she told her favorite doll. "You can't take that old scraggly-looking doll," Mama put in. "Why, she's a mess, all tattered and such." Nettie Jo's face dropped. "But Anna Mae is my friend. If she can't go, then I don't want to go either." Mama smiled and winked her eye, saying, "I suppose Anna Mae can come along and sit beside me. Is she wearing a nice dress?" Then she handed her daughter a piece of leftover lace material. Nettie Jo's eyes brightened. "Thanks, Mama. Do you have any extra sewing needles?" "Sorry, this one is the only one I got, and I've got to finish your dress and mine's by tonight. Try Granny's." Nettie Jo hurried to her grandmother's house, but Granny and all the aunts and cousins were busy putting the finishing touches on the wedding clothes. There wasn't an extra sewing needle anywhere in Barrowsville. "Where can I get a needle?" thought Nettie Jo. In her favorite place by the sycamore tree, she came up with an idea. Every winter, high winds scattered things over McKeverly's bottom. And come spring, Nettie Jo always went gathering the best stuff for her playing spot. "Girl," she said real confident-like, "I'm gonna gather and find us a needle." And she tucked Anna Mae under her arm, swung her burlap sack around her shoulder, and set off on her way. She searched the rest of the morning and found a pretty red feather along the road, a piece of ribbon in the hedge, and an old penny at the bus depot. "What we need is help," Nettie Jo decided, stopping in front of a bush where Miss Rabbit lived. Nettie Jo spoke politely. "Hello, Miss Rabbit. My cousin Willadine and Charles Henry are getting married tomorrow. Anna Mae can't go to the wedding unless she has a new dress, but I need a sewing needle to stitch it all up. Would you help us look for one?" "What? What?" Miss Rabbit asked. "A wedding? A dress?" She was a mess of nerves, talking fast and hopping from foot to foot. "Can't you hear?" Nettie Jo asked loudly. Miss Rabbit shook her head wildly, then went on explaining how during the night her ears had flopped. "I must look terrible, dear. Dear me. And how will I hear when that dreadful fox is coming?" Miss Rabbit never stopped talking. Meanwhile, Nettie Jo studied on the things she had in her sack. "This ought to help me hear better," she said, pulling Miss Rabbit's ears up and tying them with a piece of ribbon. Feeling satisfied, Nettie Jo asked, "Can you hear now?" I believe, yes. And I think I hear that awful fox coming." Miss Rabbit leaped away, chattering on and on about her woes. "I hear that awful fox coming." "Fox is not coming," called Nettie Jo. "I need you to help me." But it was too late. Miss Rabbit had scampered away, That's all right, Natty Jo said, consoling Anime. We can find a needle by ourselves. Down by the creek she found a brass button, a comb, and a thimble. But still, no sewing needle. Then, in a hollow log near the mud bank, she came upon Fox's den. She could hear him stirring around inside. Fox, I need your help something awful. After explaining about the wedding and Anime's dress and all, Natty Jo asked, Won't you help us look for a needle? Fox stumbled out of his den. Look, he grunted. Look! He tripped and bumped into things. That's just it. I can't see nothing. Man, I've been sleeping in this dark den. How that bright sunlight is blinding me. My problem is, how can I see when Panther is lurking around? Fox paced back and forth. Once again, Natty Jo studied the problem. From inside her sack, she pulled out a hat and handed it to her friend. This should shade your eyes and help you to see clear. Fox knocked a hard crease in the top, then broke down the brim over his left eye. He eased down to the creek and looked at himself in the dark waters. Just my style. Show I do well. Suddenly Fox stood still as a stone. Look out! I think I spy Panther! Then he dashed away. Natty Jo chased Fox all the way to the bridge. No! Panther's not coming, she shouted. Come back, Fox, please. I need your help. But Fox didn't answer. He was long gone. Don't cry, Anime. Natty Jo hugged her doll up close. We'll find a sewing needle somewhere. Natty Jo stood on the bridge, wondering what to do next. The sun had moved around on the other side of the ridge. Not much daylight left. No needle. There wasn't but one other place to look. The woods. And Natty Jo had never been inside the woods alone. She thought about her problem, saying, If I don't find the needle, Anime, you can't go to the wedding. And if you can't go, I'm not going either. Then, taking a deep breath, she walked into the woods. It was cold and quiet among the trees. Natty Jo was careful to stay on the path, looking sharp for a sewing needle. But all she found was a lace glove, a piece of rope, and a rusty horn. Then a bush rustled slightly, and without another sound, Panther appeared, moving like a big shadow. Natty Jo wanted to run, but thought better of it. She held her head high and spoke right up. How do, Panther? You know, I really could use your help. She began like they were old friends. You having such good eyesight and all. Panther mumbled something. But Natty Jo rushed on, telling the big cat about the wedding and Anime's dress and her long search for a sewing needle. Will you help me look for one? She asked. Panther's yellow eyes narrowed to slits. Without making one sound, he sprung forward, opened his mouth, and... Achoo! Panther sneezed. Oh, you've got a cold. Achoo! How clever, you noticed. Panther growled hoarsely. Worse still, I lost my roar. And no one's
scared of me. A panther that can't roar.
He flopped next to Nattie Jo, real disgusted like. I'm so sorry, Nattie Jo says, looking inside her sack. Maybe she could help. Try this. She gave Panther the horn. He blew it.
Blah-ta-ta-tum! It's not my roar, but it will do until I can get my roar back.
Now will you help me look for a sewing needle?
No time, said Panther. I've got to go chase Fox.
And the big cat bounced away, tooting his horn.
Blah-ta-ta-tum! Blah-ta-ta-tum!
Oh, wait! Don't leave! I need your help! But it was too late. Panther had vanished, and so had Nattie Jo's hope of ever finding a sewing needle. It seemed almost for sure that Anime wasn't going to go to the wedding. And that meant neither was Nattie Jo. You can cry now, Nattie Jo told her doll on her way home. 'Cause I am. Mama was still busy trying to finish all the sewing she had to do. Nattie Jo sat by the cabin window, telling herself the wedding and the pretty lace dress didn't matter. Suddenly there was a big racket outside.
Blah-ta-ta-tum! Blah-ta-ta-tum!
Nattie Jo hurried to the door. Miss Rabbit rushed past. Hot on her heels was Fox, and Panther was chasing them both.
Blah-ta-ta-tum! Blah-ta-ta-tum!
In the distance, Nattie Jo heard their voice echoing through the bottom land. We forgot something, little friend. Thank you for helping me hear better, said Miss Rabbit.
Thank you for helping me see clearer, said Fox. Thank you for helping me roar louder, said Panther. Might you be needing this?
And the moonbeam caught a shiny thing as it fell to the ground. Nattie Jo hurried out to pick it up. It was a sewing needle. She smiled and spoke into the moon-washed night. Thank you, my friends, then hugged Anime and skipped back inside the cabin, humming, Here comes the bride. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story. Tune in next time to Cookie Jar Adventures for more radio dramas and story time. Until next time, see ya!